Okay, so I'm doing this video to show my workflow of how I do a hand analysis and using Pokercruncher, and I'm hoping that this will be clear and give you some idea of ways to actually make this a little better. So hopefully this won't take too long. So basically what I do is I generally just ignore the hand that I have. I just want to find out if that's in the range and how I played it, whether it's worth uh, whether the way that I played it is right. So I will I'll sort of see where I'm at. So I'm the hero in the button, and I'm calling. I'm checking the preflop limp. So what I'll do is I'll stick myself in the first slot because I have first action after the flop, and then I'll stick the villain in second slot. So if he's limping in early position, I'm going to say that he has kind of this kind of hand, I think. We're going to reduce a lot of this. Probably something more like this. Excuse me. A bit of a throat thing right now. Let's say likely these are the hands that he would likely open that way. Maybe this at 1/4 as well. I think these aces are 1/4. Oops. Let's make those 1/4 as well. 25%. I mean, I try to avoid the weighting just because it is tricky to move back and forth. You'll see in a minute what I'm talking about there. Probably none of these. Maybe. I don't really have a read on this particular guy, so anyway, let's say that this is the kind of hands that this guy would open limp at under the gun. So I will copy this over to another spot because I need to kind of track it and save things as I go. And he's got 260 combos. And then everyone else doesn't matter except, and then the small blind folds. So I'm actually going to ignore the action of the small blind at this point. And I'm checking. So my range is ridiculously wide, obviously. It could be any two cards pretty well. So this is actually kind of a tricky hand, but we'll just say 100% add. There's all possible hands are now in the blind. So I'm checking. Well, that's like 1,326 combos. Doesn't quite play out this way. Like basically, my methodology is depending on the bet size of villain or the flop and my decision bet size. I'm going to reduce ranges that way based on that thing percentage-wise. So, but say if he bets 50 cents right now into a 75-cent pot, that's 3/4 pot. In theory, I would call with like 60% of my hands, but I'm not going to call with 60% of these hands. I'm going to call with, let's say that I had to actually call like a min raise in the blind. Let's load that hand better. So that would be my big blind flatting range. So I'm likely not going to re-raise, or I'm likely going to re-raise the big hands, the premium hands. But depending on the villain, probably calling the rest of this. Yeah, I think that's probably, even this is pretty wide, but I'll say I'm not likely to fold those. I'm not likely to fold those. Any of these suited hands. I mean, anyway, this is more of a demo than a demonstration of my ranges. So we put that in here, and then I see that I have 450 odd combos that I'm playing through. So we flop now. And then what I'll do is I'll just kind of, and then I save my full range there under full range. And then I save the villain's full range under there, so I have these saved. And then I will kind of check my equities, and this is usually the way it comes out, somewhere around balanced. Like, I know my range is balanced if we're 50-50 generally, and probably with the big blind I'm going to be a little less, obviously. So then we flop 10, 3 diamond, and 9 of clubs. And I'll check the range again. So that was very good for his range, not so good for mine, especially the 10-9. So then my next step is to see what my next action is. I'm going to check. So what I'll do is eliminate the say like a certain number of my hands that I would probably have bet out. Or no, what I do is I create a value. I break my range into 3. Marginal, and then bluffs and draws. And then the first thing I do is I'm going to basically shave off. Well, I'm going to do that here, but right. Let's just say I check. I'm just going to check because he checked to the pre-flop raiser. So he bets, and I am going to reduce his range by not much, because he could easily bet any of these cards. I would say the likelihood is that he's not betting that, and then he's not betting that, and he's not betting that. And then I think he's probably not betting those. But anything else, more likely than not, but he's going to bet. So then I go here and I save this into his new range. This is his new range. I could have possibly waited the 10s, 9s, and 3s, but you know, in all the playing I've ever played, I've only actually, in memory, remember one person that would lead out on a set. So most people want to at least check raise that, if not check call and then bet or raise on the turn. So now I create a reduced range. So he's bet 3/4 pot, 50 cents into 75 cents. So that's about 2.5 to 1 for me, 60 or so percent. So then I figure my 450 combos, I'm going to continue with, let's say, 65 of those, 65% of those. So now I'm going to build a new range with 292 combos. And of those, there are going to be a certain number that are value, a certain number are marginal, and a certain number that will be bluffs and draws. So first thing I usually do is I'll create my values and my range value in this. So then what I have to do first before I do anything else is I have to grab a screenshot of this because I'm going to end up deleting it, and I need to keep track of the hands that I'm working with. So you'll see what that means. So I've saved this range. This is the wrong one, sorry. It's this one that I want to grab, my range. Alright, so this is my range. I've saved it into my full range slot. Now I get to clear it, and now out of this I remember. So here's the first step. I wish that this could be somehow represented in here, i.e. At this point I don't want to be able to select King 9. I don't want to be able to select Queen 9. I don't want to be able to select any of these hands that were not in my original opening range, my pre-flop range, because obviously they shouldn't be here, right? So the only hands that I really want to work with are the ones that I show here. These are my post-flop range relative to the action that's happened so far. And this is true for the turn and for the river as well. So it would be great right now to only see these combos or in some way lock off the rest of the combos so that I can't actually select them as I drill down. So now I'm building my value range. So the value hands are going to be 10s, 9s, 3s, 10, 9. What else was in there? 3s. And there are no ace 3s. I'm going to say basically it's trips and top 2 pair. Those are my value combos. And that's it. All right, so this becomes my value hands. Value hands. And I save those. Then I take this and I copy it over here. See how I'm having to sort of keep these all separate because this is in lieu of creating this layers thing that I've been asking for, or that I've been suggesting that you do. And then the way I play my range creation is I have two bluffs for every one value combo. So at this point I should have 36 bluffs. And now I'm going to, using my original opening range, I've saved that off, so now I can clear this and now I can create my bluffs. So usually the first zone of bluffs that I might have are all my flush draws that have ended up here. So I'm going to say we're all back doors because there's no full flush draws, but to create enough of these, this is kind of what I have to do. So ace through these, so it would be spade, diamond, and club, and not the 3s, sorry. Not the 3s, space, diamond, and club, not the 3s, because those are actually a marginal hand. And then all of my kings, spade, club, diamond, and all of these kings, oops, spade, club, diamond. Turn off these, and I know I can shift select that so that I don't have to do it twice. So what are we looking at so far? We're looking for 38, and we have 45, so that's tons. So let's get some better draws than these. Let's keep these out, and the straight draws, jack 10s, jack 10 off, 8, 7, 8, 7 off, tons. Okay, I've got tons of bluffs. This is obviously a great bluffing board. I don't think there's anything else that at this point. Anyway, you get the point. We don't need to be too thorough on this. So I actually have to reduce some of these because I said 36. So I will reduce some of these ones. So these higher ones we'll take out down to 36. Spade, club, diamond. Okay, 37. Good enough. So that now is my bluffing range. So the bluffs and draws get saved. And then I copy and paste this into here. And I'm now at 37. So now to get to my full 292 combos, since I didn't have a lot of value on that flop, I had a lot of possible bluffs, I have a lot of marginal combos that come off of my initial calling range, which was all of that, which is going to be actually kind of hard. So 18 plus 37 is 55 minus 292. It's going to be ugly. 240 something. 290. Yeah, 235. So somehow I'm going to create 235 combos, and this is never going to happen. Out of all of this stuff. So that's all saved. Oh, you know what else I do generally is I will screenshot this one too so that I can remember what my bluffs were so I don't duplicate those. So that goes here. Let's put that here. That, and now I can clear those because I did save that one. And so ace 4, ace 9, ace 10, and king 10, king 9, queen 10, queen 9, jack 10 no, jack 9, 10, 9, no. 9, 8. 9, 8 off. Any threes? What are we at? 45. Oh my Lord, help us. Ten, 9 was alright, so we can go the Jack 10, Queen 10, King 10, Ace 10, Ace 9. We're gonna say all of the these guys over pairs, except they weren't there because I would have raised them. At this point, I guess we're gonna say these are value. I guess if we wanted more bluffs, these would be more the bluffing hands, like King Jack, gut shots. But we'll say they're overs, and those are all valuable. Say all those are value. Yeah. You know what? I think we can also include all of these for now, just to get through this. That gets us 175. It's that opening range. When I'm opening as wide as I do with the button, I think this becomes quite an ordeal trying to keep enough hands in here to balance stuff. But all these Jack 8s and Jack 7s, I suppose. Well, that's anyway. I think, you know what, I'm not going to sweat this out too much because we're doing this on a recording, but you kind of get the point of what I'm trying to do. So now I save this as my marginal hands. That's saved. And then I copy it. And copy it in here, and I revise this to say, well, I didn't actually get to that. I got to 175. So we're a little short. That's fine. So in actual fact, we ended up with where'd my calculator go? We ended up with 55 plus 175, so 230 combos. 230. So it's more like 60% as opposed to 65, or even less, 55. And then what I'll usually do is I'll want to look and see, well, let's see, how does that full range? So I got to go back to my little clipboard here and copy these back in, because I can't kind of build the ranges as I go. So there we go. And then we'll save that as the full range. So now it's my new flop full range. And then I can see what the equity. Okay, well, now suddenly my range is looking a little better. Assuming I call, right? So, if I'm anything outside of, if it was in this range, but outside of what I've selected now, which is all of this. Oh, this doesn't seem right. That's his. That's mine. Where do those things go? Load. Bluffs and draws. Oh, that's right. Never mind. I cut those off to just keep my bluff draw range. Right. So if it was in this range, so none of that, but this, and is not in this stuff, then it's folded. Anything else is either raised or called. All right. So then what I usually do is I will create a new grab of this new range so that I can remember it for later. And I'll get rid of that one because that was on the flop. Now we're going to the turn. And then same with this. That's the bluffs. Get rid of that. And then our turn card is a 5 of spades. So now, equity-wise, we're looking a little bit better. The next action is me checking again. And our UTG bets again. So what is he going to bet with on this? So he probably would now bet probably trip fives if he had them. He's going to bet... I think he'll now only bet flush draws that include spades only, but might still bet the ace-9 and the ace-10. And now might bet an ace-5 or ace-4 of other suits. I'm thinking he'll probably bail on these. Queen Jack. Queen Jack. I feel like I didn't set these up right for myself with my straight draws. But anyway, 9s, 8s, 7s, 6s maybe. I think we probably would see somebody who would check those, and most likely would check that. So I'm going to say this is his new range. So I'll put this in as a betting range. Everything else he would have checked through. And now I'm calling. So again, he's betting 50 cents. So it's significantly less than he did bet before. So 50 cents into 175. 175 divided by 50 is, well, no, that's not the way I want to do it. 50 divided by 175, 28%. So now I can call off 70% of my previous combos. So my previous combos, we ended up at 230. So 230 times 0.7% is 160. 160 combos I get to build. 160 combos. And again, I create a value range, I create a marginal range, and I create a bluff / drawing range. Now so I've saved this. I feel all good. I'm all set up. And we're looking at this spot. So now I can go to my value hands, and in those value hands I can now add 5s, and that's kind of it. We didn't complete any straights, and any other additional 2 pairs don't exist. So basically, yeah. So basically I'm going to now save this as my new value. We've got 21 now, 21 combos. So 21 combos, and then when I'm on the turn, I am going to balance that with 21 bluffs. So I have a few more bluffs I can add, or actually I'm going to reduce, obviously. So I can't remember, did I save the value hands? I did, yeah. No, I didn't. So let's load our bluffs. I got to remember to remove the 5s from my marginals. And we're going to go to just spades for 1, just spades. And these Jack 10, these should have been these. So, but that doesn't make any difference because those were, they balance each other out. So now I want slightly less bluffs here. So maybe I'll bluff, well, not to waste time. We're looking for 21. So we're just going to take out those 8-7 offs. We'll keep all the other suited 8-7s. So there's our bluffing range. So I'm going to save that as my bluffing range. That goes here. And there's 22 of those. So 21 plus 22 is 43 into 160. 160 minus 43 is 115, say. So 115 marginals now. So these are my bluffs. Save those as my bluffs if I haven't already. And now I need to load the marginal range that I had going. So we want to knock this down from 170 to 115. So that comes out right away because that was there. The I think the 3s can go. These 4s can go. These overs, some of these overs can go. These guys probably would be flush draws by now. So that goes away, and technically probably should go into my draws. I should drop those straights and add those to the draws. But I'm not going to do it now because that's just going to waste time. And same with that, and same with that. Queen Jack, those are straight draws we had before, so we would have saved these. These are marginal. The 10s are still top pair, so they're marginal. To get rid of all of these. Now we're in the zone. Ace 9, Ace 10, 9, 8. Goodbye 7s, 6s. No, I'll keep those. Those are pairs still. So I want to get back to one more. I'll just stick that in there, say. No, say that one. Okay. It's a little hodgepodgey, but you get the point. I would spend a little bit more time getting these ranges right, but for this we don't need to do that. So here we are, and that's our new marginal range. And then I save this if I didn't already, and then I will go in here and I will stick these at the end. So again, we can't create a layered range. Now, I guess with your new features, I could, in theory, go to the load and do the add back in, so that'll make this step a little less redundant. And then this is the new full range. And yeah, we're now our range just gets better and better. And then we end up with a king of diamonds. So yeah, anyway, you get the point. Now I just do the same thing on the river. So I don't think I'll record any more of this for you because it's defeats the purpose. So thank you. Thanks for watching if you got it this far. I think you probably got the point a lot earlier, so you might not have even gotten this far.